What you'll need for this project is a skein of Red Heart Unforgettable yarn. For this project I used the Tidal colorway, and hooks in both I for the ribbing and J for the body, and a yarn needle. We'll have a tiny little seam at the end of the ribbing to sew up, and then also optional if you want a hair elastic. I don't put one in mine, but I've seen so many messy buns that do. You can get any kind of hair elastic and single crochet around that at the end. Okay, I'm starting with my slip knot here, and I'm going to chain 7. Okay, get my yarn ready. Working on holding my yarn in a new way, so it's taking me a little bit to get used to it. Okay, so chain 7. Okay, so we have our starting chain, and you're going to single crochet in the second chain from hook and each chain across. Now, I like to do it in the back loop. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I like to crochet into the back loop. And so I'll find my second one here, single crochet. So I'm still getting used to my new way of holding my yarn, because I was having to wrap it around each time, like lift my hand and wrap it around, and I learned, you know, that just doesn't seem very effective. So, working on that. Okay, so you'll end up with 6 single crochets. Okay, so there's my first row. Six single crochets. Okay, and for the next one, so you turn, and then you chain 1. You're going to single crochet in the back loop only of each of these stitches. So you can see right here the V. When you do the back loop only, you just go in this one like a regular stitch, and you go through both. So just the back loop. Single crochet in each one, back loop only. This is a very common ribbing technique that gets it's kind of hard to do a rib in crochet that's truly as elastic and everything as a knitted rib. So this is something that crocheters can do to look more like ribbing, even though it doesn't have the same elasticity. Okay, I made my last stitch a little funny. There we go. So there are 6. Okay, so then you will turn and repeat that. You're going to repeat doing this until it's 20 inches long from the beginning. And when you end, you're going to end with the wrong side row. So this would have just been that you would end this way, to where the tail is away from, we're going to end up working on the long side. So you want your tail to be this way. So let's do one more of these together, and then I'll join you again after we get all of these done. So back loop only for 6 stitches. Oh, the tail's getting in the way. Down there. And sometimes when you get to the end, like I have to count almost every row, because there have been times when I've not done this one, or somehow I've not, because you see it looks kind of strange right here. So you're gonna have to just work your way into this last stitch, which is actually this little loop right here, to make sure you have 6 on each round, each row. Okay, so one more time. Okay, down to the end. Okay, so keep working it the same way. See how it's already starting to become a rib? This is going to go all the way around the head. So keep working this until it's 20 inches long, and then we'll come back and do the next part together. Now I have my ribbing 20 inches long, so you can see it looks quite long. Here, it's where I started, and I made sure to end so that when I come across and single crochet right here, this will be at the bottom. Okay, you want your tail at the bottom. So, got mine here. Carefully fold it in half. Okay. It's kind of long, so it's hard for me to show it all on the screen the way I have the tripod set up. And go ahead and join with the slip stitch. Okay, and now it's time to change to our larger hook. So take your eye hook and set it aside and get out J. It's my J hook. Put it in here. Okay, now we're working the body of the hat. As you can see on the pattern listed as the body, that's where you're going to work from the ribbing up until we decrease. And you chain 1 and then single crochet 87 evenly around. So when you do that, you're working in these places like right here, the hole where we joined. Just do a single crochet, and then you can go in the next rib. Not every so often you need to skip the ribs. Sometimes I'll count them, especially if I'm going to do the bottom of a sweater or something that has a lot of these. And I'll count, 1, 2, and then after you see a ridge, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'll count all the way around. And then figure out, okay, so I have this many ribs and this many stitches need to go into it. How often do I need to skip one? And sometimes I just go ahead and wing it. Hope it comes out okay. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on how lazy I am for a project. And then 2, for how wide it is. This is, a hat, so I'm not as crazy. But if I'm doing a sweater and I've gone, 36 inches around, yes, I'm going to count and I'm going to figure out how many stitches I need to get them evenly across. So here we have 2. And 4. So sometimes you have to pull it apart to see your stitches in between there. One thing I like about this yarn too is by the time you get to the end, you've changed colors, so you can see how my original was more of a green, and now I'm coming across with the blue where it ended right here. So it's going to be nice, the contrast between the blue and the green. So 6. Okay, so now I'm at 20. And I'll kind of check to see if I'm about a quarter of the way around. So it looks like I am not, so I'm going to need to spread them out a little bit more. Okay, and then just keep single crocheting all the way around until you get to, the end, and then join with a slip stitch. Okay, and here I am at the end of the 87, and I am ready to join with my slip stitch. Okay, now if this bothers you right here, having this open, you can go ahead and take this tail, which I'd probably leave it a little bit longer than I did. But you can take the tail and sew it up, or else you can wait till you come to the end. It doesn't really matter. So that's round 1. You got 87 single crochets around. So you can see the yarn instead of changing the color. I like that. It's something I really like about the Boutique Unforgettable yarn. And now we're going to chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch as our join, chain 2, and now you're going to skip the next 2. So this one's got a stitch in it. Skip these 2 and single crochet in the next one. And you're going to repeat that all the way around. You will chain 2, skip 2 single crochets, and then single crochet in the next one. Okay, so you're going to have some spaces here that we're going to work into in the next row. Chain 2, skip 2, single crochet. Okay, do this all the way around. After you repeat that all the way around, you'll be left with 2 chains here, and you're going to chain 2 and join with the slip stitch to the first single crochet in the last round. Now if you're new, you might want to mark these stitches on the single crochet rounds. If you're new to crochet, it might help you out with identifying the first stitch. Okay, so we've got this pattern going on, and we're ready for round 3. This is our double crochet round. So for this stitch pattern, you work a round of the single crochet and chain 2, the pattern you just see here, and then we're going to work some double crochets. Okay? 2 double crochets in our chain 2 spaces. They're going to hook in right here, and then a front post double crochet around the single crochet. Okay, so round 3 says chain 3, and this counts as a double crochet right here. So it would be in place of one of the front post double crochets. Now you do 2 double crochet in the chain 2 space. There's 1. And just put it right back in the same space and bring it up. And 2. Okay, so we've got those 2 double crochets. And now we're going to front post double crochet around this single crochet. So here's how you work a front post if you're not familiar. Instead of going into this stitch like this, like a normal double crochet, you're going to bring it back through the chain 2 space and out the next chain 2 space. So you're going to go all the way around this stitch. Okay, so in this chain 2 space, out this chain 2 space. And then work it like a regular double crochet. Yarn over, pull the loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And you see how that gives it a raised look, more texture. So you're going to repeat that in every chain 2 space, work 2 double crochets, and then you'll work your front post double crochet around the single crochet. So it's a very simple pattern as long as you know how to do a front post double, which really is not much different, especially in this, at least with the chain 2 spaces. It's easy to see, what stitch you're going to do the front post around, whereas in some patterns, you have to think, oh wait, which stitch am I actually making the post double crochet around? But this stitch pattern makes it really easy, which I like. So 2 double, and then a front post. Okay, so you should start seeing it look like this. You can see my raised front post double crochets right there, and then the regular double crochets kind of behind them a little bit. Gives it this nice textured look. So keep working that pattern all the way around, 2 doubles, and then a front post around the single crochet. So now I've just completed my last front post double crochet right here in this stitch, this last single crochet, and I have this chain 2 space left. Now we'll do 2 double crochet in this last chain 2. And then we're going to join to the top of this turning chain with a slip stitch. So you can see right here where we need to join at the top. Okay, so we've completed our first 2 rows of the pattern. We did, of course, a row single crochet, and then we did the chain 2 and a single crochet row. And now we've come by, we have done a row of double and front post double crochets. So now we're going to get to the point where we're going to repeat rounds 3 and 4. So let's go ahead and do round 4, which is similar to the first single crochet chain 2 round. So you chain 1 and you single crochet in the same space as the join. So you can see it's right here. Maybe a little difficult to get your hook in just for a minute, because that was a turning chain, so sometimes they can be a little harder to crochet into, at least mine are. Maybe I just do it too tight. So now I have single crochet, and I'm going to chain 2, just like we did before. I'm going to skip these 2 normal double crochets, and then you're going to single crochet in the front post double, and repeat. Okay, chain 2, skip these 2, and single crochet right here in the front post double crochet. Chain 2, so complete this, continue this all the way around, and just like on the first round, we will end with a chain 2 and then joining with a slip stitch. Okay, and then you will repeat rounds 3 and 4 until you've completed 14 rows total from the ribbing. And then one more time on round 15, you'll repeat row 3 and you'll be ready to decrease. Okay, if you've worked through this far, you should have something that looks like this from the beginning. Nice textured pattern. See the post double crochet here and the 2 rows. And now I've worked through round 15, and I am ready to start the next part, which is shaping the cap. So here's my seam here, and we're going to chain 1, and we're working a similar pattern. So we're going to single crochet in the same stitches, join, chain 2, single crochet in our front post right here. Okay, and where it gets different now, we're going to start decreasing the number of stitches that we have. In just a minute, so chain 2 and single crochet. Okay, so we've done that twice, just like normal. Chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. The next time, you're just going to chain 1, so that's going to reduce one of the stitches here, and then single crochet in this one. And we're going to repeat that. So we'll do 2 chain 2 spaces and 1 chain 1 space. So chain 2, and again chain 2, and now chain 1. Okay, and repeat. Chain 2, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1. Chain 2, 2, chain 1. Okay, chain 2, chain 2 again, chain 1, chain 2, chain 2, chain 1. So you see how every third time now we are decreasing by 1. So continue all the way around to the last 5 stitches. Okay, so here I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at my last 5 stitches. So now what I want to do is chain 2, single crochet in my next front post, chain 2, and join with the slip stitch right here in this first one. Okay, so that's taken us from 87 stitches down to 78. So that's a good start with our decreasing. For round 2 of the cap, we're going to work our double crochet around here. So you did chain 3. Remember, this counts as a stitch, as a double crochet. So chain 3, 2 double crochet in this next chain 2 space, just like we were doing before. And our front post single crochet, double crochet again right here. Now you work 1 double crochet in this chain 2 space, and then you work a front post double crochet around, double crochet in your chain 1 space, so you can see this is a smaller space here, double crochet here, and then another front post double crochet. The tricky part of this pattern for me was trying to keep this nice textured look going with the decreasing. So I really started the decreases in between the front post double crochets so that we could bring them together. It still had the same look. So you double crochet 2 in the first chain 2, and then 1, and then 1 in the chain 1 space. And now we're going to repeat. So you'll have 2 double crochet in this chain 2 space, and then a front post around your single crochet. Okay, 1 double crochet in this chain 2 space, so that will decrease a stitch every time we do it. Front post, and now In your chain one space, you work a 1 double crochet again, and then the front post. So every time you get to a chain one space, you know that the next space after that will be the 2 double crochet. And so let's work that. So there are 2 my chain 2 space. Now we're going to double crochet 1. Front post double crochet. And in my chain 1 space. And now I know I've gotten to the end of my repeat and I'm going to start over. Oh, sorry, after my front post double crochet. Then I'll be at the end of my repeat. Okay, now we're ready to do 2. Okay, 1 double crochet. Now I'm at my chain 1 space. So 1 double crochet here. And a front post. You continue this until you get to the end. So end up double crocheting in the last chain 2 space. So here's my chain 1. Okay, just did our chain 1 space, so 2 double crochet here. Oop. Sorry, I lost track of where I was there just for a minute. Okay, I'm doing 2 double crochets here. You can see sometimes this yarn gets pretty thin. I love this yarn. And in some areas it's thinner than others. Some areas it's pretty thick, like you can see here. Just part of the way that it is spun. But I really do. Red Heart Unforgettable is one of my favorite yarns. I love the color changes in this yarn. And I enjoy working with it. It is difficult sometimes if you have to rip out some stitches. But overall, it is a lovely yarn. And you can see this hat has gotten some great color in it already. Let's see from the end. All the way up the different changes. I like how it changes to the different blues. So it's very nice colors. Okay, getting close here. We double crochet in our last chain 2 space and then join to the top here with a slip stitch. Round 3. This one's pretty simple. Get this ready to go. You chain 1, single crochet in this first stitch, same one you joined in. Just like I said, sometimes it can be tricky with it being the turning chain. And then you just chain 1 and look for the next front post double crochet. Single crochet there. And then chain 1, single crochet in the front post, chain 1, single crochet in the front post. We're going to continue this all the way in the round, all the way around, just chaining 1 and looking for the next front post double crochet and single crocheting there. All right, almost there. Okay, now we've reached the end again, and we're going to chain one, and we're going to join with a slip stitch. So now we only have one chain one between each of our single crochets. There we go. Let's bring it together. Now we're down to 58 stitches. Round 4 starts with the chain 3. And this counts as our double crochet again. And now you're just going to front post double crochet in each single crochet. So this counts, so you don't have to worry about that. You have a chain 1. You're just going to front post around each without any kind of chain or anything in between. So just look for your single crochets and front post around them. See that one, I don't think I did quite right. If you're ever unsure, go ahead and just redo it. It may have been right, but it just didn't look right to me. Okay, we're at the last, oh, sorry. The last one, I'm about to do the front post double crochet around this. This is my starting chain, so I don't want to do that. I just want to join right up here. There we go. So it's really starting to decrease. Let me, oops, sorry. Lift this up a little bit to show you how it's pulling in at the top now. There we go. All right, so that was round 4. Round 5, we're going to chain 3. And again, counts as our double crochet right here. And then we're going to front post double crochet 2 together. So start like you're doing a front post double crochet. Draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Should have 2 loops left on your hook. Yarn over, insert into the next one like you're doing a post double crochet. And draw through just 2. And you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, draw through all 3. So that's effectively gotten this down to 1 where there were 2 front post double crochets. And now what happens is the pattern repeats where you front post double crochet like normal in 1. And then you front post double crochet 2 together. Okay, so again, right to that last step where you normally would yarn over and go through these, you're going to start like you're doing a new front post double. And then when you have 3 loops on your hook, you're ready to go through all 3. Front post. And then so now front post those together. Again, front post double crochet. Front post 2 together. Okay, now I'm going to join with the slip stitch to my turning chain. There we go. Now round 6 is going to be the last round if you're not using a hair elastic. Otherwise you're going to do round 7 where you chain 1 and single crochet in each stitch around a hair elastic. Personally, I did not do this, so the hat you see in the picture did not have a hair elastic around it. But I know a lot of people like an elastic on their messy bun hats. So it's totally optional, and if you would like to do that with round 7, you can. And if you go to the project page and check out Ravelry, there are people that have done that, and you can see how it looks and see if that's something that you would like to do. But for me, I just didn't like that. Now, when you look at these here, it looks like this is 2 separate, but this is actually where we front post double crocheted 2 together. See, there's the single one and then 2 together. So when you front post double crochet, you're going to treat it like 1. So now you're doing 1 and then the single. So this isn't going to take you very long because you end up with 10 stitches at the end of this. So again, this would be the next one, and then the single one. Okay, you'll have to keep turning your work quite often when you get this small. And that's all right, now you know you're almost done. So now we're going around these and around the single one. There we go. Sorry about that. Had a little piece getting in the way from the prior row. Okay, so just keep front post double crocheting 2 together all the way around, turning your work as needed so you can get to what you need to. Okay, here I am getting down to the end. Sometimes it's hard to tell where your turning chain is. And there's mine. I'm going to finish this off here and then join with a slip stitch. Okay, and you can see it's pretty small here now at the top. So this is just enough room to really get your hair in. And so if you want a hair elastic, you would just, chain one and single crochet in each of these around the elastic, like hold the hair elastic and make sure the yarn is catching it. Otherwise, this is it. And you just fasten off and weave in your ends. And your project is done. That's the back, you can see right here. So you can tell a little tiny bit where the back was. Other than that, now is the time that if you haven't sewn up this seam at the bottom, you take care of that. Said you could definitely have done it earlier if it bothered you. I thought about it, but I was going to save it for the end of this video. So now we're going to just start our, I have this really big yarn needle. It's the one I have with me right now, unfortunately. Okay, so draw it through like that. A lot of times I'll go back through at the end. I'll draw it back through this one. And pull it tight. And I'm still going to kind of... So this is how I do mine. It doesn't really exactly keep the ribbing, but for me, I'm not too worried about that. And just the very back little seam right here. This needle. Okay, so you just keep doing like that. You'll just bring it in and just do that all the way up through the next few stitches, and it'll close this up nicely. You'll just have it, you'll see a little bit of the yarn like that, and then the hat will be done. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial video for the simple textured messy bun hat. I've enjoyed creating this project and sharing it with you. You can see the finished hat that we just worked through together. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.